All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Kingsley is here. Together we'll be doing justice to some of these stories that we have for you this evening. Kingsley, good evening and welcome to Sport Extraordinary.
Mike, thank you very much for having me. Nice to be here this evening.
All right, so let's start from the home scene because the Abia State chapter of Sport Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN, has condemned the actions of a match commissioner, Said Yakubu Aliyu, and his officials for not allowing any journalists entry into the Enyimba Stadium during the Enyimba's versus Ikorodu City game on Saturday. Sport writers who described the action of the match commissioner as ugly dance of disrespect and shame, warned that the actions are capable of compromising the transparency of the league. A statement signed by the chairman of the Abia State chapter of SWAN, Kingsley Okun, and the secretary Patel Kalu urged the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL, and the Nigerian Football Association, that is the NFF, to investigate this report, as according to SWAN, leaders as such could bring the Nigerian Premier Football League game to disrespect if allowed to continue. They further asked the management of Enyimba FC to ensure that such ugly treatment did not repeat in their next home match. Kingsley, the purveyors of sport, they were not given access to the match against Enyimba, as they were bounced away from attending that match. Do you think that this is right from Enyimba, and what could have led to that action from Enyimba and the match commissioners?
I don't know. I don't know what would have possibly led to that action. I don't know why the sports commissioner, the match commissioner, didn't allow journalists, of course, to go take up reports, about that particular encounter. Maybe he was, I don't know if to say, because the action is very fishy at this point in time. What was he trying to hide, at the end of, the day? Was he trying to maybe favor the away side, talking about Ikorodu City? Because Ikorodu City, of course, they won that game, and I don't know what the sport commissioner was the match commissioner was trying to protect, at the end of the day. On a normal, when a game is on, journalists are expected to go in, go cover the games, all right, take a look at one or two reports, then put it out there, of course, on the media for people to know what really happened, of course, in that match center. So it is strange to see that this match commissioner did not allow journalists to go take up, reports, at the end of it. So that means there must be something maybe the sport commissioner is trying to hide, or probably do not want the journalists, of course, to be aware. So I think for me, the journalists down there in Abia State, yes, if you ask me, they are right, to maybe take up the matter down to the Nigerian Premier Football League board, to question the match commissioner. Why will you stop journalists from going to, of course, cover a particular match? All right, so it's not really, of course, a good one, at the end of it. These are not things, of course, we should be hearing in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Why was this, match commissioner, why did he stop journalists, from entering the stadium to go watch the game? I think that's a very big question at this point in time. So for me, I think the Nigerian Premier Football League board, should look into the matter. In fact, that game should be properly investigated so that we know the reason why this match commissioner decided that journalists, of course, should not come, because he knows what journalists can do. Whatever they see in the pitch, whatever actions they see, they're going to report. Maybe he was trying to cover up something so that people will not be aware of whatever. For me, the action is very strange, and it is not a very good one, of course, for the league at this point in time. I just hope that the Nigerian Premier Football League board will look into it, and of course be able to, know the reason that the match commissioner actually stopped journalists, from entering the stadium.
All right, not a good one at all for the Sport Writers Association of Nigeria, Abia State out there. But then, the match, that last 26 match day 26 between Enyimba and Ikorodu City was actually played behind closed doors because of the fine, that was imposed against Enyimba in their last match against Barao FC, where some of their fans went overboard, so they were ordered to play the match behind the closed doors. They were also fined a sum of 5 million naira. So I guess, Kingsley, this is the reason why maybe they, refuse the entrance of the Sport Writers Association. But even if a match is played behind closed door, it doesn't stop the Sport Writers Association from gaining entry. It is only for the fans out there that they are not allowed to, get inside the stadium. But for reporters and journalists, they are allowed. Why? The reason is, why were the Sport Writers Association, just like you stated, is there any other special thing that is, beneath that action?
The thing is, possibly, I think we could also take it to the fact that what was the instruction given by the Nigerian Premier Football League Board to the match commissioner, going to, of course, oversee that particular match. That's the question, of course, we'll be asking. Was it that they told him, do not allow anybody, to get into that stadium? All right, I think we'll also wait to hear, like I mentioned, wait to hear from the Nigerian Premier Football League Board, what was their own position in terms of that particular encounter. Was it that nobody, apart from him, the match commissioner, to be in that stadium to watch that game? These are things, of course, we have to know at this point in time, because on the norm, at least two journalists should have been given permission, to, of course, go cover the game, since, of course, it's a home game, at the end of the day. So, for me, I think we'll wait to hear from the Nigerian Premier Football League Board what was really the instruction given to the match commissioner. Was it that no journalist or nobody should enter that stadium apart from him, who is actually the match commissioner, to take up reports, from that encounter? So I think it's a good one that the journalists, they've aired out. They've actually, I think, possibly sent the reports to the Nigerian Premier Football League Board about the action of the match commissioner. We'll wait to hear from the NPFL board.
All right, definitely wait to hear from the Nigerian Premier Football League board. But even if a match is being played behind closed doors, reporters and journalists are definitely allowed access to the stadium. It is only bad against fans and not journalists, and this is why the Abia State Sport Writers Association have raised a very salient concern here, that the Nigerian Premier Football League management and the Nigerian Football Federation should also, wade into this matter and, find the reason why they were not allowed inside the stadium to actually cover that match day 26 between Enyimba and Ikorodu City. And just in case you don't know, Ikorodu City beat Enyimba in that counter 1-0. To go top of the Nigerian Premier Football League, while Enyimba's struggle continues. Away from that, let's head straight and talk about the CAF Champions League, because the quarterfinal draw for the 2025/2026 CAF Champions League and CAF Confederations Cup, will take place today at the headquarters of the Confederation of African Football in Cairo. A ceremony is scheduled to begin, local time, with the remaining 8 teams in both competitions set to discover their opponents in the knockout stage. Clubs that progress from the group phase will be drawn against each other in what promises to deliver a high-stake encounters as the race for the continental glory intensifies. The quarterfinal fixtures will be played over 2 legs, with aggregate scores determining which teams advance to the semi-finals. Kingsley, the CAF Champions League, the draw almost out as we speak right now, but one unfortunate thing is that no Nigerian club is here. The last team is Rivers United, but they've been knocked out of the competition. Despite that, Nigeria still maintain its 4 slots in the continent out there. What do you make of the draw today? Are you seeing top teams like Pyramid, RS, Bakene, and of course some of the top guns avoiding each other?
Yeah, I think for me, we'll just have to look at it and see how it goes. We'll wait until the draw, of course, it's been unveiled, and we'll see, how... for Rivers United to be able to get to the group stage of the competition. Right? Saying, but I think did it years back. It took so many years for another team to be able to get to the group stage of the competition. All right, so you take a look at even for instance, the last outing, Remo Stars were beating Blue Black. Could not win one.
6 games, 5 losses, 1 draw.
It was. So for me, I think as it stands now, there's a whole lot, of course, to be done when it comes to the Nigerian Premier Football League. We saw how Remo Stars have been struggling in the past 3 seasons right here. So it's been an unfortunate one for the Nigerian Premier Football League. So it's so sad that at this stage we cannot talk about the NPFL at this stage, of course, in the continental competition. It's very, very disappointing. Now you have to say, Benga Elegbele, they've been talking, he has done this, he has done that. Is it for we to just sit down here and be praising him? Benga Elegbele has improved the league. I think this is where we should see that impact. This is where we should see that improvement. So Benga Elegbele has changed his, our teams are now performing well, in the continent. You ask yourself, why is it that year after year, teams from Egypt, teams from Morocco, teams from South Africa always need the CAF competitions? Year after year. That's what I'm saying. Year after year, not competing in the preliminary stage of the competition or group stage. Year after year, they compete for the titles.
Yeah.
Then you look at it, what are they doing? What are the Moroccans doing? What are the Egyptians doing? The South Africans, what are they doing to better their league? Why can't we look at it and see if we can borrow a leaf, from there and look at how we can, of course, put our own rights? Is it just to stay here and try this and try that? For me, honestly, to look at it, I've not really seen what Benga Elegbele has done. No disrespect, all right, to the man or whatever. But truth to be told, what has he done to say? Improve the prize money of the league?
We've also seen an improved refereeing decisions as well.
Improve referee decisions?
Yes, because unlike what it was in the past, where we keep blaming our living up to standard, but I think we've seen a bit of improvement in
if our referees have improved, why have they not been appointed or maybe called to officiate in the CAF and the African Cup of Nations? If they have improved, that's the thing we're saying here. You see, they have improved. If they have improved, why have they not been called to officiate? Even in the CAF competition, the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederation Cup, why have they not been called? So for me, it looks as if the man has not really done a lot. What we have just seen is prize money improvement. Teams have been given 20 million before the start of the league, which is not even enough for them to even cater for, like, let's say 3 games. To say. So what has been the impact? The pitches, the pitches, we have here are not up to standard. So what are you approving? These are the things, of course, we're looking at this point. The sporting facilities that, though you might say, okay, it's not solely the responsibility of Benga Elegbele to develop, maybe sporting facilities, but you look at it, at every corner, you want to see what has Benga Elegbele really changed. Because if we have really changed, if some things, if we've really seen that improvement, then the impact should be on the continent. We should be able to see our team performing well, of course. You've been on the seat for up to 3 years now, thereabouts. And then for the past, how many years we've been? The only team that tried to get to the group stage of the CAF Champions League couldn't win a game. Is a poor one. Are you talking about the aspect of visibility of the league? The league is not on TV. It's not even on streaming side. We'll sign deals upon deals, and none of them is working. Some of the sponsors are backing out from the league because of the fact that they cannot make money from it. What are we saying? So we've just been attempting and not been able to finish the work. That's the administration of Benga Elegbele. He has been attempting to do good, but his good is not good enough. That's the thing.
All right, the good of Benga Elegbeleye is not good enough to improve the level of the Nigerian Premier Football League. But then I say that a Rome is not built in a day. Kingsley, maybe just maybe we need to give him time and see how to, see how to improve the Nigerian Premier Football League, because it's a very sad narrative that, Nigerian clubs find it very difficult to compete against, other clubs right here in Africa. Since the last time that Enyimba won the CAF Champions League, just like Kingsley stated earlier, it's been very difficult for any Nigerian club size to even get to the quarter-final, not to even talk about the final. And this is how poor the league has fallen. And they go through the ratings as well. It's another issue that we need to talk about. And the reflection of the league is what we are seeing when our clubs goes out there to play in the country. So, big worries for the Nigerian Football League management. A lot needs to be done, but then it is a gradual process. Away from that, let's head straight to Europe because Fulham boss Marco Silva has revealed why he cannot keep Super Eagles star Alex Iwobi on the bench in a way of resting him. Silva spoke about why Alex Iwobi could not be left out of the starting 11 following their FA Cup victory over Stoke City on Sunday. Interestingly, the Portuguese coach made 10 changes from the team that lost 3 goals to nothing to Manchester City on Wednesday night, and Iwobi was the only player who stayed in the starting lineup. Since coming back from the African Cup of Nations, Iwobi has been a key player for Fulham. He has played in 448 out of 450 possible minutes available across all competitions. Silva said that Iwobi had to start because there were not enough players in the squad. All right, moving on to the La Liga this evening. Former French and Barca defender Samuel Umtiti has told the Super Eagles player Demola to stay focused and keep performing well. A 32-year-old was at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium when Atletico Madrid beat the older team, Barcelona, with a score of 4 goals to nothing in the first half of the Copa del Rey semi-final. Lookman, Julian Alvarez, and Umtiti's ex-France teammate Anthony Griezmann all scored in a really impressive display. After the game, Griezmann gave Lookman's jersey to Umtiti because the Nigerian player became the main talking point after a fantastic performance, which included him scoring a goal and also assisting in front of the Atletico Madrid home fans. So Kingsley, former Barca player, praising Lookman Ademola, then also encouraging him to stay focused. You think this is what Lookman deserves or need to do at this point in time, staying focused?
Of course, that's what he needs at this point in time. He has to remain focused. It's a new terrain for him. It's a new team, so he has to be focused no matter the ups and downs. All right, he has to be focused that he gets himself acclimatized to the environment as well as the team, so that he can be able to blend and be able to put up a very impressive performance. A lot of pressure on him if you look at it. It's a new team and a lot of expectation on you as a player that they believe before they actually went to get you that you can do the job. And so far so good. I think the man has tried to, of course, redeem himself a bit. I think he still needs more game time to be able to showcase, of course, what he has, at this point in time. So for me, I think it's really a good one from Titi, of course, encouraging Ademola Lookman at this point in time. What he needs is a lot of encouragement. And if he can get a lot of that and, of course, remain focused, I tell you, Ademola Lookman will be able to prove a point, for himself. Since he actually, put up that high level of performance at Atalanta, the man has tried to make sure he maintained the tempo of his gameplay.
True.
All right. So for me, I think if he's more focused, definitely he's really going to excel down there at the Spanish La Liga.
All right, at this point, we'll take a quick break. When we are back in the second half of the show, we head straight to the UEFA Champions League because there are some mouth-watering clashes tonight where Galatasaray will be at home at the Ram Stadium to welcome old ladies, talking about Juventus. And the other big game will see Benfica, the former side of Jose Mourinho, welcoming the 15 times European champions, talking about Real Madrid. All these are many more will form the bulk of the second half when we are back from this short break. Don't go anywhere. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. In the first half of the show, we told you how the Abia State wings of the Sport Writers Association have raised a serious concern, accusing the match commissioners of match day 26 between Enyimba and the Ikorodu City of not allowing them access to the stadium. Of course, in Europe, told you how Marco Silva, the coach of Fulham, says that Alex Iwobi cannot be dropped from his squad right now because of the crucial rules that he's playing. But let's head straight to the UEFA Champions League because tonight, Galatasaray at the Rams Stadium welcome the old ladies Juventus. Kingsley, let's take a proper look at this game. It is one interesting game because in the last 5 meetings between these two, Galatasaray seems to have the upper hands against Juventus. But then, beyond that, Juventus are also, they will be looking to get back to winning ways after that weekend loss to Inter Milan. How do you see this game panning out tonight between Gala and Juve?
It's going to be a tricky time. Don't forget, Galatasaray, of course, they are home. They also have a strong home record and support. So it's really going to be a very tight one with their key man, Victor Osimhen, who is as well looking forward to see how to make a mark, of course, with them this season. I think it's going to be a tricky one. You take a look at Galatasaray, at least in their last 2-3 games, they've gotten a little bit of an impressive performance. So heading down to this one, they already been boosted already. So for me, I think Galatasaray, of course, have an edge in this one, but I think for me, it's still going to be a tricky one. Juventus will be looking forward to see how they can also go forward to get this one. Just like you mentioned, head-to-head, Gala, of course, a bit ahead, but sometimes, history is not what, of course, you look at for this point in time. It's all going to boil down to, all right, the current form of both sides. What can they be able to achieve? But I see Gala being more hungry, in this encounter, to go forward. And for Victor Osimhen, there's a whole lot at stake for him. Is if he's been able, if he's able to, of course, take this Gala side, even go to the quarterfinal of the UEFA Champions League, it will mean a whole lot, of course, for him. I think for me, it's been a long time we've been seeing Galatasaray competing, at this level. So for me, I will just look forward to see what it is about the home advantage and home support, for Galatasaray. I think they stand a huge advantage in this one.
Gala stand a huge advantage tonight against Juventus. Still talking about this game, Kingsley. I know the spotlight will certainly be on Victor James Osimhen for different reasons. One, the former coach is there right now at Juve, that is Spalletti. And then again, Victor Osimhen will hear that Juventus are among the top clubs that are also approaching him for his signature. Beyond that, he's also the second highest scorer in the UEFA Champions League so far this season behind Kylian Mbappe. With all of these, indices, do you think that the pressure is going to be upon Victor Osimhen to deliver the big stage tonight?
Yeah, definitely. I think that pressure will be there on Victor Osimhen, and I will just look forward to see him being able, of course, to manage the pressure. At the end of the day, he wants to prove to Juventus that yes, he is that strong. He wants to prove to them that he can possibly, of course, deliver them, and of course, make them that top team they used to be. Because Juve, they've not been competing at the highest level of recent. So he will, of course, want to show them that I am that striker you need to go back to the top level of football. That we used to see Juve, at this point in time. So there's going to be a whole lot, and I will look forward to see what's happened. If Osimhen scores, I tell you, to be a huge advantage, for him, as well as to his team as well, Galatasaray at this point. Don't forget, Juve has been looking for the man ever since he was at Napoli, but due to the issues between Osimhen and Napoli, they couldn't allow that deal, of course, to be fruitful. But now that he has been bought from Napoli, now playing for Galatasaray, who are also willing to also let the man go if he wants to leave, but just that the team coming for him will have to pay that huge amount of money. I think about 80 million euros, or thereabouts. So I think for me, for Gala, it's been a rosy one for Osimhen. Even Osimhen has even talked about it that he feel at home, down there at Galatasaray. So we'll just look forward to see what comes. So when a player is being given that confidence, when the player is being given that room, exercise, his or her, itself, whichever way. Of course, you see the best, from that player, and of course, we look forward to see that happens. That happened tonight against Juventus.
All right, we look forward to see Victor Osimhen living up to the expectation tonight, because the searchlight or the torchlight will certainly be beamed upon him alongside Moro Icardi, his teammate, and the two later strikers that will be up against Juventus defense tonight. Who goes home with all 3 points? Only time will tell. But in the second game, Kingsley, it is yet another tricky tie, as Benfica will also welcome Real Madrid at home tonight. You know how the first game ended during the final stage of the first phase, where Benfica had to leave it late before they were able to beat Real Madrid. Real Madrid under Abelua, they'll be flying in the La Liga. Do you think they are going to take a revenge tonight, taking a look at how Benfica defeated them in the last group phase?
I think it's going to be fun. Just like you mentioned, Madrid has actually regained a bit of form under their new manager. So it's actually a team trying to see how they can put things right going forward at this point in time. They were not like the team that we saw in that first game, of course, against Benfica. I think you could see a little bit of an improved Madrid side. So heading down to this one is going to be a tricky time. And we also not need to take anything away from Benfica. They have also been fantastic under Jose Mourinho. So playing at home, I think, is even more of an advantage, for them at this point in time. That they're going to, of course, be well relaxed with the support from the home fans. That confidence, of course, will be there on the players to be able to exercise themselves very well on the pitch of play. So another tricky tie it is, and we look forward to see what comes up as it stands. If Jose Mourinho, of course, this is a team he understands very well. He has coached them. He knows Madrid philosophy, somehow. So he can, of course, put up another impressive strategy or tactics, tonight, to see how he can get a win as well.
All right, another impressive game that we are going to see tonight, as Benfica welcome Juventus. Still talking about this Benfica Juventus game. Quoting Jose Mourinho hours ago, he says that he wishes that Madrid win the La Liga, but in the Champions League, he wishes that they will be knocked out. And of course, shared the sentiment saying that Abelua is a very humble guy. He wishes him to win the La Liga and not to progress in the Champions League. Is that yet another mind game coming in from the special one?
Probably another mind game to say at this point in time. Is, of course, he will not wish him to come and win the Champions League. What if he's in the final? All right, that's the thing at this point in time. So that's a good wish from Jose Mourinho. Go and win the La Liga, leave the Champions League, at this point in time. So mind games to say, meaning he should not even try to say he wants to win in tonight's encounter. Let him just focus on the Spanish La Liga, and see. Mind games, of course, he will say from Jose Mourinho. You know how he always does his things, as he stands. But for Real Madrid, I think the Spanish La Liga is very close. I think just 1 point separating them and Barcelona. Looking at how poor Barca has performed, I think in their last 2 or 3 games, to say at this point in time. So you talk about the Spanish La Liga, I think the coach can compete, for it. The UEFA Champions League will be a little bit of a tall mountain for them, looking at how informed they are at this point in time. We have teams that are more informed than Madrid in this Champions League. We have teams like Arsenal. We have teams like you talk about the likes of Bayern Munich. These are teams that have shown high level of consistency. So Madrid, talking about the Champions League this season, you can't really have that 100%, guarantee that Real Madrid will even get to the semi-final, because it's really going to be very, very tough at this point in time. But it is Madrid. Anything can happen. They have experience in the competition, so you cannot just write them off.
You can't write Madrid off, 15-time European champion. You can't just write them off, because Madrid know how to come back from the dead, even when you least expect some surprises from them. They just come up to do the needful. Record a 15-time UEFA Champions League winner. It doesn't come easy, and you can't, of course, despise them. When he get to this particular stage. But the other game, we see Borussia Dortmund at home welcoming Atalanta at the Signal Iduna Stadium tonight as well. And here's Monaco will be up against Paris Saint-Germain. This is all French encounter, Kingsley.
Yeah.
Paris Saint-Germain have not been convincing in the league. They lost their last game against Monaco tonight. Can they bounce back to winning ways?
I don't really know what's happening to Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe is it the fact that Luis Enrique wants to leave and they've actually lost their mojo. They've been struggling, you know, recent. I think their last game they lost. The goal margin was huge. I was surprised, you know. Something is really, of course, wrong down there, of course, in the team. Against Monaco is going to be a tricky one. All right, Monaco, they are another side of comfort that a little bit, you know, formidable. So if they don't step up their game, it means PSG might not really go far this season in the UEFA Champions League after winning the title, of course, you know, last time. I expected them to, you know, to fire very hard this season, but we've not seen that spark, of course, you know, in them. So it's really going to be a tricky tie. All French affairs. We look forward to see, of course, who takes the day.
We look forward to see who takes the day in this all French affair, and it promises to be a very interesting encounter at the Stade Louis II Stadium tonight out there in Monaco, France. But before we leave, Kingsley, Eric, talking about Paris Saint-Germain coach Luis Enrique, he has also come out to refute the claim that there seems to be a locker room dispute between him and some of his players, owing to the statement credited to Ousmane Dembele after that, you know, embarrassing defeat where Ousmane Dembele came out to say that the players are no longer playing for Paris Saint-Germain. They seems to be playing for self-glory, and that actually went overboard. That the coach was also, you know, worried, but he has come out to say nothing at all, that the team is still intact. Do you think that he's just trying to be more, you know, careful in order not to allow the dirty spill over from what is happening behind the scenes?
He's doing his job as a manager. As a manager, you should be able to manage whatever thing that comes up, of course, you know, in the team. Maybe Dembele might have felt that way, but of course he has to do his job by coming, you know, to tell the fans that this is what it is, everything is fine, all right, just to calm down that tension, you know, as it is. I think possibly he will go back and be able to make everybody to live up to expectation, you know. PSG so far so good. If you look at them, they've been poor. We've not really seen that spark, of course, you know, in them like we saw last season. So a lot of things, of course, have changed, and I think for me, if Luis Enrique is going to continue, because I think earlier on I hear he said he wants to maybe take up another challenge, you know, at this point in time. He refused to extend his contract, you know, with his side. So if he's going to leave or maybe he's going to stay, I think it's left for him to see how to be able to boost the morale of the players and make them play as a unit. Take a look at what they did last time, where they didn't have the likes of Messi, they didn't have the likes of Di Maria, they didn't have the likes of Mbappe, they didn't have the likes of Neymar. They were able to use not so big names, you know, to win the UEFA Champions League. So I think football is all about unity. And what's his name? Luis Enrique is one man who understands what it means to play unity football. So I believe he will possibly go back and be able to put the team, you know, in order. All
right, this is where the cookies crumble on the show this evening. But before, let me also let you know that in the world of athletics, yes, Samuel Ogazi has quit the WhatsApp group of the Athletic Federation Elite, you know, athletic group, owing to the fact that he complained about poor treatment. You know, so leaving the AFN WhatsApp group is yet another serious worry. It should be for the Athletic Federation at a time where there is also a rumor making around that Favor Asher have also switched allegiance. So more troubling time for the Athletic Federation, but this is where we, you know, stop at this moment. Tomorrow, 7 to 8 a.m., we'll be back here for yet another exciting edition of Sports Talk right here on Atlantic Television Network. I did a show this evening alongside Kingsley Emmanuel. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways, and we're saying have a great night ahead.